Hi there. I'm trying this again. I just finished a video and it appeared that there was no sound. So here I go again. Maybe there'll be two out there. They won't be identical, that I am sure of. So in my last video, a few seconds ago, I introduced Rhea, which is my new puppy, which is my reason for not being online in quite a bit. I've had Rhea now for 3 weeks, and Rhea has taken over my life, to put it bluntly. She's 11 weeks old, and so she's like a newborn baby. And although intellectually we know these things, when we're actually in the experience of it, man, has it been interesting to notice my resistance to not having my own space and my own time and my own, because actually my time is limited because her needs actually take priority over what I want to do at the moment. So again, although I knew that would be the case, experience is very different than knowing. And in the coaching work that I do all the time, we talk about um, knowing. So there's tons of leadership books, there's tons of self-help books out there. They're all really good. They're all, well, I can't say they're all valid, but lots of them have very good, fabulous information. I've read many of them and gone right back to my office and led the way that I led before because there was no experience with that information. There was no experience in understanding how I got in my own way. What I knew was, oh, those are great ideas. Oh, yeah, that sounds like a good thing to do. But it wasn't my practice, and I didn't implement it as a practice. And consequently, I continued to lead the same. Over time, I learned stuff, I shifted stuff, and certainly by the 20 years into my corporate career, I wasn't leading the same as year one. Absolutely. But what I've noticed as a coach and somebody who has taken a lot of like invested a lot in myself in my coaching, what I've noticed and what I've come to understand is the depth of difference one gains from the experience, not just from the knowing. It is the doing in the moment and having feedback in the moment and hearing sometimes what I don't want to hear in the moment. And that discomfort, it like being responded to or given information in that moment where my leadership is waning, uh, is what has really enabled me to grow in that area of my life. And I always say to those I work with, leadership is about our life. How are we showing up in our life? It's not about in the boardroom or just when we're at work. So from that perspective, having the puppy has been really interesting because it has forced me to look at my own rigidity in the moment, to see how structured I am and how I don't like that structure to be fussed with. And when I have an 11-week-old puppy, my structure goes out the window. And so it is about experiencing that and asking myself how I want to show up in that moment. And it's a continuous practice, doesn't matter what we're doing. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about um, you recognizing and being aware if our external presence or our external expressions, our outer expressions, are aligned with our inner spirit or how we want to show up. And again, transformation is about the journey and the experiential change of how I'm showing up in my world. And when I look at being true to myself, being authentic with me, and living life from my inner spirit so that it is aligned with my external expression. What that requires is A, to recognize when I'm not, and B, to practice showing up differently. And as I've often said in my videos, oftentimes the people I work with, they don't like it when I say practice. It takes practice to shift how we're going to show up in the world. And that's practice at home, with our family, with our husband, with our partner, with our kids, with our dogs, with whoever, and in the office or wherever you happen to work, like people you work with, people you work for, people that you influence every day. It is about practicing showing up differently. But first, you must begin with understanding what it is about yourself that's not working for you. What is it about yourself that you know you're not being true to yourself when you say, yes, I'm going to do that. And your inner voice is saying, "Ah, there's no goddamn way I want to do that, but I'll do it anyways. And then I'm a martyr and a victim and blah, blah, blah." So it's knowing those moments, catching those moments, and then practicing differently. So, oftentimes, in my experience in the corporate world, people will tell me they know what somebody's going to say. Maybe they do, but most of the time, our assumptions are wrong. And so we don't ask for what we want. Or they think that um, the person has authority over them from a positional perspective, and they don't want to be seen in a certain light, or they don't want to be perceived in a certain light. Of course, how we think will be perceived are always our own projections. So it's what we think about ourselves that we're probably going to project onto that other person, and then we're going to um, conclude that what they'll do or say will be based on actually our perceptions of ourselves, not them. Might come out that way, but oftentimes it's not. So anyway, when you really understand that you're withholding your own truth to appease others or to make them look better. So, you play small so that other people feel better. You do more so other people get to have more space or more time in their lives, but that's really not serving you. So when you say, ah, like, why am I doing this? And you know it's not what you want to do, it's not aligned with your inner truth, then your outer expression is not consistent with your inner desires. And oftentimes in leadership, that is like totally the case. People are really gifted, they're really bright, and they are swayed by the structure. They are swayed by the positional authority. So they don't speak into the room. They don't bring what they actually have to the table. They don't want to be perceived as being arrogant. This is really common with women. They don't want to be seen to be too much because perhaps they've told not to be like that, been told to be like that for most of their lives. And whatever our stories are, those views or perspectives of ourself will get in our way. And so that's the work that I do in my leadership program, Illuminate, Unleash Your Inner Leadership Brilliance. This is a program that is for leaders that are in positions leading other people. They don't have to lead other people by any means, just working across the system can be super challenging. And you're trying to serve people, but also the work that we really do is to help you not lose yourself in that process. So if I'm living true to my inner self and my outer expressions are aligned with that, then I am building my own confidence, my own strength, my own belief in myself. And that's what takes me to the next level. That's what makes me really evolve as a human being, not wearing a mask, thinking that I ought to show up this way because that's what people have told me. And that's just the reality of life. We come into this world perfectly perfect. We are pristine. We have no reason to not trust. We have no reason to doubt. And we learn along life's journey all of those things. Not anybody has necessarily bad intent, but the reality is that life um, teaches us things that perhaps don't serve us in adulthood. So this work will really help us look at each other's leadership, support each other in their leadership, but really come away with a new appreciation for your strengths, your gifts, your areas of growth that are necessary for you as a result of this work, and really at a new plateau for where you want to go from here. And so I invite you, if you're interested in that kind of work, to reach out to me. We start on the 15th. There are 6 spots left. And if you want one, then that's a calling for you. So reach out, we'll have a conversation and see if this is something that will serve you. Have a great day. Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon. My puppy's whining now. Gotta go.